Good morning. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and it is lovely to welcome you in. If you're joining me live, it is a Monday morning, slightly overcast, not too hot at the moment, so all is well. So welcome, and I'm going to join you today to do a little bit of crafting, so looking forward to that. If you are joining me live, do pop on and say hello. If you're watching on catch up, equally do pop in a little comment, let us know that you're watching, what you're thinking, all of those sorts of things. If you've got any suggestions, all of those things, we love to hear from you. So yeah, do interact with us and do share these videos out and invite friends to come and join us. It's lovely to grow. So let me introduce myself. This is where you will find my website and all things Love-a-Duckie, www.love-a-duckie.co.uk, and over on there you'll find blog posts and links to shops and links to classes and all of those sorts of things. And anywhere that you're looking for me on social media, look out for Love-a-Duckie and you will find me, whether that is Facebook or whether that is Pinterest or whether that is YouTube, or whether that is Instagram or any of those places. Do look out for Love-a-Duckie and come and follow me in those places as well. It's lovely to have you as part of the family. And talking about links to classes and things, let me just, I've just updated my slides for upcoming classes, and you'll be able to tell I've just updated them because this one I have updated to upcoming classes for August. There needs to be a bit more updating on my other slide in a minute, but these are my sort of regular sorts of classes. So every month I do a technique class, a how-to class, I have a stamper stack. We normally have some sort of all-day event. Some all days are longer than others, and we've got a few other things on the other slide to share with you. So my technique class in August is coming up on the 26th of August, and that is going to be using some specialty vellums. There is some gorgeous new vellum in the July to December catalogue. It's absolutely stunning, and there's also a little pack of vellum that goes with some other things in the annual catalogue. So we're going to be using those in a technique class, looking at different ways that we can incorporate that vellum in our card making. So that's the 26th of August, if you're doing it in person. 9th of August is the next stamper stack, and that's going to be using the Ringed with Nature bundle, and we're actually going to be using that this morning. So if you've not seen that, don't know what that's about, you will be able to have a sneak peek of that in a moment. If you're not able to attend in person, I can provide that as a kit to go. If you are here in the UK, I can send that out to you. We have an all-day class from 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon on August the 20th. So I'm trying to read on that, the sort of small print on my screen. Yes, the 20th. Morning. Lovely to see you, Jackie. Have a good morning, and we'll no doubt catch up later. So yes, so Saturday Stampers in August is going to be on the theme of all at sea. So we'll have some sort of sea themed projects, some of which will be quite nice for sort of masculine type cards and things if you're looking for those. So that is here in Northamptonshire, in Great Memorial Hall at Great Donington, not very far from me here in Wellingborough. So if you are local and would like to come and join us for that, you would be very welcome. Let's bring in this sheet, and you'll see that this one still says July. It is in fact the August classes. I updated the pictures, forgot to update the month. I am going to be running some evening stamper stacks, so if you are working during the day and can't get to daytime ones, I'm going to be monthly running doing a rerun of my stamper stack, but making it an evening event. So 23rd of August, which is a Tuesday evening, we're going to be having that stamper stack with this Ringed with Nature bundle. So if you can't get during the day, then do come in the evening. But if you're not anywhere near me, to be able to get to a class, but you're still local in the UK, then have a kit by post. All things are open. A new thing that I'm starting is this kit class. So it's not just necessarily kit to go. I am running an in-person class, but you can also have a kit to go if you are not local. And the first one is going to be using the potted geraniums, and we're going to be doing a variety, 5 different cards, using that potted geraniums bundle, and you'll get everything that you need to make the cards, plus a bit extra to take away with you and carry on playing. So you get a nice little kit, and we will create cards with it, and then there'll be leftovers for you to take away. So that kit class, that first one, is going to be happening on the 5th of August. And then just some advance warning that we have got our next retreat booked in October, and that is going to be on the 22nd of October for our next all-day retreat. And those are really all days. They're from 9 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock gone in the evening. Lots of a great day, completely catered for goodie bags, little gifts, all sorts of things going on those days. It's a fabulous day, so do get that in your diary. You can start, that is up on my website. You can pay your deposit now and secure your place. Places are obviously limited on those events. And before we get crafting, just a reminder that we are still in celebration. We're coming towards the end of the first month of celebration. We have another month to go, and obviously during celebration, if you place an order with me of £45 or more, you get to earn some nice freebies when you shop. If you host an event or put in an order yourself that generates £275 worth of sales, then you get a free stamp set on top of your normal rewards, stamping rewards for being a host. And if you join during celebration, you get the usual £130 worth of product for £99, and in addition you get a fabulous planner. And there is a video on my website showing you that gorgeous planner, going through the celebration things and looking at that fabulous planner. Right, let us come back up here, and I think it's time to get crafting. So let me bring in my downward facing camera, and as I've said, we're going to have a bit of a play with the Ringed with Nature bundle. This is a fabulous, clever little bundle, and you might look at that stamp set and you might be tempted to pass it on by, but hopefully we're going to have a bit of a play with it today. We might come back and play with it some more actually on Friday, because there is so much to see in this little bundle that I think it is worth spending some time playing with. Excuse me 1 minute while I fiddle around. I'm just thinking that light isn't brilliant and I haven't got my light on. So let me, and obviously it's going to be, the wires are going to be caught behind everything going on. Let me just switch this light on and see if that will improve. That a little bit. Okay, so the Ringed with Nature bundle. This bundle, you don't only get a stamp set and a die set. You do get a stamp set and a die set, but you get a stamp set, a die set, and a hybrid embossing folder. So it is a real good bundle. You get quite a bumper bundle in here. And also one of the celebration offers, so one of the things you can get if you spend £45. Morning, Lee. Morning, Joe. One of the things you can get if you spend £45 at the moment is the papers that actually coordinate with this bundle. So if you buy this bundle, you can get the papers for free, and we will have a little look at those papers in a minute. And I have a feeling we might be playing with them as the morning goes on. So let's have a look at this stamp set. Let me just take out the paper inner. It is a photopolymer stamp set, so that means that we can see through when we're lining up. And you've got quite a lot of little elements in here. So you've got things like these can be the tops of your mushrooms just here. They can also be the bottom of an acorn. You've got some berries and some leaves. You've got this poinsettia type flower just here. Here you've got some leaves that you could be adding those flowers on there, and that will give you your inners to your flowers. And we've got a little dotty stamp. We do love a little dotty stamp. And you've got this tree rings here, and you've got a house, and the house is in two parts, which means that you could stamp the body of the house in one colour and the roof in another. That's really handy. And then in terms of sentiments, you've got things like thinking of you, get well soon, just for you, love and warmth. You've also got a Merry Christmas, and you've got a happy anniversary. So it really is quite a versatile little stamp set. It gives you lots and lots of options for things that you can be doing with it. Now, the dies that go with it, so you have got dies that are going to cut out little leaf pieces, going to cut you out sort of bits of acorn, so that you could have this as an acorn. You could also have this as tops of your sort of toadstools going on. You've got some little bits of greenery. These bits here are to create, whether you can see here, sort of centres of your wood rings. And then you've got one big die and a whole set of smaller dies. Now this big die will very beautifully sit in this big embossing folder. So this embossing folder is an embossing folder full of tree rings. Hopefully you can see that. So you've got all of those tree rings on that embossing folder. And then this die will sit in this embossing folder. Wiggle it around, and you feel it sort of click into place almost. So it sits in that embossing folder. You put your piece of card in, and we're going to actually do this in a minute. And as you run that through the machine, not only does it emboss your tree rings, but it cuts them out all at the same time. So you'll then end up with 5 little tree rings. And you'll see that when we die cut them, and you'll see it a bit in a minute, is that you sort of get this outer edge on the tree rings, and then these dies here will cut out the centre bit. So if you want one back piece in one colour and you want these centre pieces in a different colour, you can do that as well. Just run it through in a different colour and you'll be able to cut those out as well. So that's the hybrid embossing folder, all your little dies and your stamp set. So you can see it already is a fun bundle. But then we've got these papers that go with it, and these are called the Rings of Love papers, and you'll find these, as I say, in the Sale-a-Bration set. I have been using some of them. You'll see there that you have got one that is tree rings, and yes, you can cut those tree rings out with that die. Here we've got, I love this paper, it's got lots of leaves and toadstools, little butterflies, beautiful. You've got this paper that's covered in these little blue tits sitting in branches. They're just beautiful. It's rather nice, sort of almost snowy sky. And it looks like they've used a salt technique to create that one. Rather gorgeous. And these are bits that I've used. You've got the poinsettias all on the front, all over that one. That's an all over poinsettia print. This one is an all over tree bark. Then we've got this gorgeous one here with all of these houses. I've seen lots of projects online where people have cut out these houses and used those on projects, but of course you don't need to cut them out. You can use that as a background paper. We've got this beautiful mandala effect on there. That's rather stunning. We've got this lovely check, which would be great for Christmas cards, but obviously, you know, you don't have to just save it for Christmas cards. These beautiful flowers and arrangements on here, which are quite autumnal, but you can use them any time of the year, but they do have that sort of slightly autumnal colours. And then there we have some acorns and autumn leaves. And then on the back here, this beautiful watercolour blendy background with these leaves on it. So beautiful papers. And as I say, the papers are free during Sale-a-Bration. They are a money can't buy item that you can only get during Sale-a-Bration. So gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So let's get playing. Let's get playing with these lovely things. So I think we're going to start. I love, 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 love these little blue tips. They're just beautiful. So I'm going to use those. And we'll use the stamp set. I think we'll make a little new home card using these. I'm going to go, I think, with some, let's have a look, what are the colours in here? Let's go some mint macaron, I think. I'm going to grab some cardstock. Somebody did ask me the other day how I managed in my conservatory with all the sun, keeping cardstock from fading. All my cardstock is actually in drawers. So as long as it stays in its drawer, should be okay. And all of my scraps and things are underneath my desk so that they don't get caught in the sunlight either. Right, so that's just a mint macaron base that we've made there. I want to take a strip and let's make it about 7 centimeters, I think. Yes, we'll score that at 9.5, and I think we'll cut it at about 12. We don't need all of that width. So we're going to make a card that opens like this. I'm going to start off by sticking this piece in place before I start decorating it. I don't think that there's actually very much glue left in this one. Let's just squeeze the last little bit out of it. Don't like to waste anything, do we? I'm going to lay that on there, make it about central. Shut that down. And that way we know that it's going to open quite nicely because we've stuck it in place. Just like that. Right. Take a piece of suede, I think. I'm going to cut a piece that is 14.4 by 10. And in the back there. And this was 9.5, wasn't it? by 7. 7? Anybody's memory better than mine? Yes. So it was 9.5 by 7. So we want it 9 by 6.5. So let me cut a piece that is 6.5. Let's cut it at 9. Yep, all looking good. Right, I'm going to take a piece of this scrummy. Let me just make sure I haven't got a not wide enough. The piece that I've got in there is much thinner. Right, so 9.5 wide by 13.9. And we'll have that sitting on there like that. Aren't they cute? Just such little chubby little things. They're very beautiful. Now, don't you bring this round and cut a little piece of this to go in the background there. So we need to be 6, 8.5. Let's swing it around that way and let's keep that blue in and trim that off on that side. That's going to bring in those blues from those birds in the background. Isn't that lovely? Just goes to show you don't need much more than our paper, do you, in order to create lovely cards? You could just put a sentiment on there and be done with it. But I think we're going to come in with this little house. Very lovely. We'll have the house and we'll have the roof. And we'll go with Just For You. Just going to grab the shape dies. She says, hopefully. On my desk and not in my in with the other dies. Oh, nearly flung that off the edge. Is that going to be big enough? Not quite. And that one's going to be too big. I think we'll just cut round it then. We'll just stamp onto some basic white and we'll cut round them. So let's find some blocks. Actually, let's put that one on that one, and that one on that one. I'll swap that one over in a minute. Now, I know that this paper has got some night of navy in it. Soft suede, crushed curry. Let's grab some crushed curry. It's got some evening evergreen, mint macaron, lots of colours. Find a bit of basic white. Let's go with a crushed curry house because that will pick up the colour in the background. Bring in our piercing mat. So this is one of those stamps that gives you a solid colour in the background, and the windows and doors are then there as a resist. It's like a negative effect. And then let's find some soft suede. We'll have a soft suede roof. Let's come the other way. And let's line that up on there. Got another window in the roof. Looks almost thatched with that using the soft suede. Just going to cut this out. I'm not going right up to the edge. Just coming out a little bit. There he is. And let's bring in our just view. And I'm going to trim this. Purposely left it long. About 3 centimetres. To cut that. there and then leave it a bit longer this way. And we'll add a little house on the end there. Looking cute. Let's anchor that down a moment. Come in with we'll have some of these just here. I'm just going to cut a couple of those on the mint macaron. Let's cut ourselves a strip. And just that cut those, it also puts a little bit of embossing, so you've got the veins on those leaves. Let's have one more for good luck. Dig out my little pokey tool. Where are you, pokey tool? I seem to have my embossing tool, but not my pokey tool. We'll go old school pokey tool. And I think we'll grab some linen thread. Right, let's look at putting this together. Those bits there. Let's put our little birdies onto our soft suede mat. Let's put our soft suede mat onto a card base. And we'll put this DSP. Morning, Janet. This DSP on here. Let's add our little house. Just put a bit of glue across the centre there. Let's fold some linen thread in half and make a double bow, just because it's a Monday morning and we can. We have the technology. So just use that double length to create that bow. And then I'll bring in my scissors and just snip off those ends. So I think we'll have this bow coming underneath here. And we'll have our little bits of nonsense coming out of there too. I'm going to take soft suede stamping blend and just add that. So these are actually our alcohol markers. You could use stamping white marker. You could have got a sponge dauber or a blending brush and added some ink to the end there. Just felt as if they need something. We could have gone different colours. We could have had red berries. We could have gone yellow. But we didn't. We went soft suede. So we've got this coming on here. And take a glue dot. Where are you? Where's my next glue dot? Just there. I'm going to pop it on the front of this bow. Ooh, the glue dots are very gluey this morning. And we will stick that to the back of our housey bit just there. And then bring in some dimensionals. Put those along the centre. And the fact that we've just put them along the centre will mean we've got room to tuck these in here. I'm just going to put a little bit of, got a bit more glue than I anticipated, so let's share that around. Sharing is caring. There we go. Let's tuck that in there. And have this one there. We'll have another one coming out just there. And now we'll stick that on there. So there we go. That will need an insert in it. So that would be perfect for a new home card. I mean, just for you, you could use for all sorts of occasions. Leave my trimmer out because I'm just going to find other bits of paper have we got. And back to our little birdies. And I'm going to cut a strip off the bottom that gives us that complete bird just there. And cut another strip off, and I'm going to turn that over. both of those coming along the bottom here. A noisy aeroplane just going by. Bring in our other strip. So, welcome to your new home. May your garden be filled with blue tips. There we go. Could be that it's a birthday card for somebody that is particularly passionate about their bird table in the garden. I don't know how generic blue tits are. Obviously, they are a bird that we get here. It's very common in our gardens here in the UK. Whether they are elsewhere in the world, I don't know. But there we have a cute little card for somebody in a new home, or somebody who's just loves garden birds, just for you. Nice sort of colours as well, means that it could be for a lady, a man, anybody. There's beautiful. Right, so that's one. That's playing with some of the stamp sets in this bundle. Let's bring in my stamping scrub and give it a bit of a spritz. Let's clean up these stamps. Rub on the wet and rub on the dry. Let's bring in the other one. And we'll pop those back in the stamp set for now. Lid on that so that we don't put our elbow in it or any such. Right, let's have a play with this hybrid embossing folder. I'm going to take a piece of soft suede card. I'm not going to worry about trimming it down. I'm not going to worry particularly that it's bigger than right, let's lock that in place in there. And shut that up. There you can see we've got the embossing folder, we've got the die in the embossing folder. We're going to treat it as a 3D embossing folder and use our base plate number 1 and our 3D embossing plate number 4. One click. And I now have a whole little collection of tree rings. You can see that the embossing folder itself is beautiful, and you could just use it to create embossed backgrounds if you want to. Now those are beautiful in their own right, but what I want to do, now what I'm not sure I don't think that those will sit in quite the same way. I think we are going to have to cut these out individually because it's not sunk in like those ones. But what I am going to do now is I'm going to take a piece of crumb cake card. Just half. This is a 6x4 embossing folder. Some of our embossing folders are 6x6, some are narrower. Narrow ones will fit through the mini machine. I'm going to arrange that piece of card because I want to get all of those tree rings on it. Think about like that. So again, use our base plate. Let's move our rings off of it. Our base plate number 1 and our 3D embossing plate number 4. And you can see what that would look like just as an embossed background. Beautiful. But I want to cut out these inner pieces. I don't know that I necessarily need them all. What shall we go with? 3 larger ones. So you can see how that is going to sit in there. And need to find the right bits. That one goes in there, which must mean that that one goes in there. So we're going to cut these as normal. Now this might actually flatten these rings a little bit. So what it might be an idea to do is actually cut these out first and then emboss them. But we will go with what we've started with. Because as they get run through the machine, that might squash that embossing a little bit. So that might be a question of do as I say, not as I do, but we are experimenting. And as is often the case on these videos, this is the first time I've played with these. They are fresh out the packet. I think I have used the just for you sentiment once before, but other than that, I have not used these at all. So yeah, it did squash that a little bit, but not beyond all use. And the other thing we could have done is we could have used these bits just here to cut those sort of splits in the middle. Let's do that on a couple of them. We won't do it on all 3. We'll just do it on 2 of them. We could have run those through all at the same time. Now, what I am going to do, because it really have squashed that embossing, I'm going to run it back through. So which one was which? And which way was which? Now, this is the bigger one. That goes there. That one goes there. And that one goes there. So we could have said cut these first and then embossed them. I'm just going to run those through again, just to juggling plates under my arm, just to make that embossing a little bit more pronounced. That's better. Let's just move some of these dies to one side and bring these in. So we're using the 3 larger ones, and you can see that that one will then sit on there, and this one with like the square knobbly bit at the top will sit in there. This one will sit in there. So you can see how they're building up into these really beautiful tree rings. And what I do want to do, I want to bring in a couple of blending brushes. There is my green one just there. Because I was really struck on the paper with the sort of multi-tonal If you look at the tree rings on this paper, it's not just one colour. They've got bits of blue, sort of almost bits of yellow, all sorts of colours going on in there. So what I thought I would do is I would take these centerpieces. Let's find one of my laminated mats, because that always helps with a bit of blending if you've got sort of glass or plastic underneath. I'm going to take some suede. I'm just going to, so I don't want to cover it all, just want to sort of make this a bit multi-tonal. So it isn't just solid crumb cake. And then I've also got one of the other colours in the paper is some evening evergreen. So I'm going to pick up a bit of evening evergreen, just add a bit of sort of almost moss type effect to the edge of these rings. So again, don't want a lot, just a bit of a touch. And let's build these rings up. So obviously you could just do them in the one colour and then sponge round the edge. If we were just to have done that in crumb cake and then sponged around the edge in soft suede. This is the one that's got the little square bit at the top and the square bit at the top there. It's a bit like doing a jigsaw puzzle. You're looking for the shapes to build them back together. Gorgeous. Now, I'm quite tempted to add in some toadstools and some acorns to there, I think. Let's get some oddments. Right, I've got a bit of grey granite for my toadstool stalks. And some real red. That will come in with this bit, that'll be perfect. Let's gather up some. Let's do another real red toadstool. Obviously they don't have to be toadstools, you can make them more mushroom like, make them more browns. It does give that bit of a pop of colour. Let's have a couple of acorn tops as well, and we'll come back in with this one, but this time in crumb cake. And I think we'll come in with a little bit of, let's go evening evergreen because we've used that. Good way of using up all your little scrappy bits of oddments of card. We'll have that coming in with our acorn on it as well. And to bring in a white watercolour pencil. Add some white dots. On our toadstools. And just going to come around the edge of this again. With this blending brush. Right, let's create ourselves a card base. Just trim that off and make this into a standard card base under 14.9, 14.85 we're being exact, by 10.5. And this one will come in at 14.4 by 10. So that's a soft suede base with a mossy meadow on the top. Now, I'm about to be too busy. Yes, I think it will be much too busy. I think even that's a little bit too busy. I think I'm actually going to get the Tinder embossing folder. Or am I? One I've used over the weekend. Obviously hasn't gone back where it should have done. Okay. We'll go back to the drawing board. I'm just going to take, in that case, this little leafy stamp just here, I think. I've actually cut this in Mossy Meadow, whereas I've used Evening Evergreen. Never mind. I'm going to come in with my Versamark. Now, the thing about Versamark is we tend to use it just for embossing. But it actually does give you rather a nice watermark sort of effect in the background if you stamp with it. So I started off, I was going to use Mossy Meadow on the corner of my tree rings, and then I changed my mind and thought, oh no, I'll use Evening Evergreen because that's what's on the don't know, you can pick that up. Oh yes, can you see how you've got that sort of watermarky effect on the background? So it doesn't, it's not in your face, it's not too busy, but it just is a little bit of detail in the background there. So let's stick that to our card base. And then let's arrange some of our tree rings. I think we'll have the one without the centerpiece. Actually, no, I'm going to put it that way because we can then arrange these pieces on there. So I'm going to take my dimensionals. Hi Jane. No blue tits in South Africa. No, they are a British garden bird. They're really quite common here. Just glue that one down, just stick that one in the back there. And then we'll put this one on some dimensionals. What shall we have for our that love and warmth? Just to take that leaf off of there. Need a little bit of crumb cake, and we'll stamp on that with soft suede. My soft suede is in need of a re-ink, I think. Brought out my bigger scissors just because that makes cutting straight lines a little bit easier. Just stick that on a bit of soft suede. And trim round. And then let's take a little dimensional to put on the back of there. And have one on there. Excuse me, don't stick down yet. Run a little bit of Tombow across the bottom there to stick to the top of there. And then we'll pop a couple of dimensionals on the back of that one. Trying to avoid that sentiment just there. There we go. Let's have a nice big bow of this again. Linen thread works so well with these sorts of cards because it is that sort of got that rustic look to it. It coming across on an angle like this. And the end off of that. The way that, because it's wound around this little tube, the way that it sort of curls is rather cute too. So what we will do is we will put a couple of dimensionals on this end where it's sort of overlapping here, and then just a little squidge of glue up here just where it's touching that tree ring. How lovely is that? Just rummaging through my embellishments and things. That would be rather cute, wouldn't it, in there? These are quite heavy. So I'm going to put a couple of glue dots on the end of here. I've just got a couple of glue dots on the end of that. We'll have that coming out there as well. Again, we shall need an insert. Actually, just come in and sponge the edge of this a little bit. Let's take that leaf that we used in the background. And let's just add in a few little leaves top and bottom there. There we go. Let me put the lid on those leaf trinkets. Those come with the Splendid Day Suite, I think. Yes, there we go. So those little leaf trinkets are part of this Splendid Day suite, which is a really pretty colourways. But there you go, there they are. Open leaf trinkets. You get 20 of those for £7.50, and they do have holes in. You could make them into earrings, necklaces, all of those sorts of things. They've got quite a nice weight to them. And bag charms, any of those sorts of things. They don't have to, certainly don't have to just be for your cards. Let me pick these dies up. Let's move this mucky mat out of the way, and let's bring in our other card. So there we have. This is using those gorgeous papers that coordinate with the set, and that lovely little house from the stamp set. And this one, it's got that sort of watermark effect in the background, but it's those gorgeous tree rings. Look at those. They do almost look like I've taken my saw to the trunk of a tree to create those. Just beautiful. So lovely sort of autumnal. You know, we may be in the height of summer here, but looking forward, if you're planning ahead, gorgeous autumnal projects, and make gorgeous autumnal wreaths and all of those sorts of things. Really beautiful. So gorgeous set. I'm sure you will agree. Certainly isn't. It certainly has surprises, and I certainly don't think that, you know, looking at the picture of it in the catalogue, you'll get any sort of inclination of the versatility and how beautiful that set is. It really is one that you have to start playing with. So I'm really pleased that we started playing with it this morning. So lovely to have you all here with me this morning. I'm off for a cup of tea now and some breakfast. I never have breakfast till after my live, but I'm ready for it now. Yeah, so I will catch up with you all very, very soon. Have a fabulous week, and I'll see you on Friday.